Hey y'all, so if you don't want to listen to any of our talk about logistics, route planning, or any of the details that went into this trip, you can go ahead and skip forward about 20-23 minutes to just the actual clips of the Huachuca Traverse. It was all shot on a GoPro Hero 8. It's decent quality film. If it's lacking, it's because of my ability to record, not because of the cameras for the most part. So appreciate y'all watching, and take care. Happy trails. Yeah, it's fine. Hey everyone, I am Zach.
And I'm John.
And we are going to do a quick introduction here for our little adventure in the Huachucas. We're calling it the Huachuca Traverse.
So we did the Huachuca Traverse on the 26th of December, day after Christmas. It was probably 29, 30 degrees when we started, and then got up to about 50s during the day. We started with a lot of weather, rain, snow, sleet when we got to the crest of the mountain, and then by the end it was pretty beautiful. It was a gorgeous sunset. Along the ridge, the trails were in good condition, so the weather hadn't really impacted them yet. So overall, it was a great day of running.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. Like, less than a week later, we have snow up on the mountains right now, and I was up there, and it's not very much fun running up there right now. So as far as the crew that went out with us, of course, John and I went out, and this is kind of like our brainchild. John and I met and started running together this past summer, 2021. And we're like, man, dude, we should run all the way across the Huachucas if we can. And so we're not the first people to do it. There are some people that have done it before us, of course. But we did a bunch of research, and one of our intentions with this video is to save some people a little bit of time and hopefully a few mistakes that we made along the way. So the crew that went out with us, John and I, our buddy Britton, Peter, Liam, and Garrett all went out with us. Liam decided right off the rip he was just going to do the half, about 12 miles, and then stop out in Garden Canyon, call it a day. He had some other stuff going on, and he's not like a ultra trail guy anyway. So, and then we lost our buddy Garrett over by Bathtub Spring, partially on me because of some not great directions. But yeah, it was fine. He got a ride out of Ramsey Canyon. Miller Canyon. Miller Canyon. But yeah, and then our buddy Peter. So I guess with that, we start with some thanks for our buddy Peter. He's been in the Huachucas a ton. He's been here for a long time, and he was helpful with like route planning, gave us an old route from folks on Strava that had done this before. And so that was super helpful because I was able to get like to probably 80-90% solution with a route, but he kind of helped us along the way. And then a thanks to my wife and John's wife, Paloma and Beth. They came out to Garden Canyon, resupplied us. John's wife brought the baby with her. And yeah, they came out and resupplied us around mile 12, and man, it was awesome. We had a bunch of food, some drinks and stuff like that, and then kept going. Yeah. So that was super cool.
Zach's wife made us these awesome medals, so we wear them with pride.
Yeah, no, they are super cool. Everybody that finished got a little medal, and it's something we can hang on the wall, so it'll be super cool. So yeah, I think with that, we'll just go into like a Strava screencast and show you guys our route and everything. Okay.
So these are Zach's Strava stats from our Huachuca Traverse. We had a little discrepancies between three different watches. I think we all used the Garmin Phoenix series. But mine had about 34.1 miles. Zach's said 34.74. And then a buddy of ours, Peter, who was with us, his was right about 35. So I think it's probably safe to say somewhere between 34 and a half to 35 overall miles. That includes going up to both Miller and Carr Peak. So we deviated off the straight line trail to go up to both of those peaks. That probably added the extra 5 miles on round trip. So it was about 35 miles. Overall moving time was right at about 9.5 hours. From start to finish, we were, I think, right at 12 hours, but we were probably stopping every 3 or 4 miles to let people catch up in the beginning. And then it was pretty slow moving at night once the sun went down. We were playing on the trails with the rocks and stuff. So about 12 hours overall, 9 hours and 30 minutes moving. And then elevation wise, we had anywhere between 9,500 and like 10,000 on the 3 different watches. So I'd say safe to say, expect that range if you're going to do the Huachuca Traverse.
So here we have our actual route from the Huachuca Traverse. Things to note, we went north to south. Everybody that was in our crew had access to Fort Huachuca. Didn't have to get a visitor pass. So that's probably like learning point or thing to note is if you're going to do this Huachuca Traverse and you don't have access to Fort Huachuca, either with a federal identification, then you're going to need to get a visitor pass. If you want to do it legally, of course, there is an open gate. Gate 2, which you'll see in the video that we're going to cut to here shortly, is open. You can just run right on the Fort Huachuca from the Crest Trail. However, if you want to do this legally, you're going to need to get a visitor pass just to get onto the post. And so we have the route here starting in Blacktail Canyon. This is right off of Canelo Road. And the idea behind this was initially we were going to take a route that cuts left or west here and takes a much steeper route. And the reason we wanted to go north to south was because we didn't want to descend that. It's extremely steep. It's very, very high grade. And we didn't want to go down that on tired legs after 35 miles. However, our buddy Peter had run this route and decided there is another route that just takes you up Blacktail Canyon and gets you up onto the ridge. And it's a more gradual ascent, still a very steep ascent.
Yeah, that part from Blacktail Canyon where you descend out of the canyon up to the ridge line, I think we were looking at like mile 3 being almost 950 feet of gain in one mile. So we say it's not as steep, but it's certainly still a beast to conquer.
Absolutely. And so a couple upsides to the north to south route. You got this big climb up front, probably 2,000 feet, 2,500 to get up onto the ridge. And if you want to pull out, if you have somebody in your crew that is not feeling well, you have the option to pull out at Huachuca Canyon right here. You can go down Huachuca Canyon, which will take you back onto Fort Huachuca proper, and it'll spit you out down on the main base. And that would be about 14, 16 miles as compared to going all the way to Garden Canyon. So the way we worked it was we got a resupply in Garden Canyon, and you will see the Garden Canyon cutoff right here. That is where we so our actual route took us over. No, it's still further. That was where we got sidetracked. So this route, so that's another thing to note. So if you're looking right here, just north of Lau Peak, that little track where we went off course.
Sorry, we had a little technical difficulties there, but so like Zach was saying, the trail follows a barbed wire fence through the Fort Huachuca part of the trail. So it will be on the western side of the trail.
Yep.
Right? For pretty much the duration, but then about halfway through the Fort Huachuca part of the trail, it switches through like a cattle gate that's pretty hard to see. And you can't move the gate. So we ended up having to crawl through the barbed wire, and then goes on to, you'll have the gate on the eastern side of your run. So,
and it's not marked.
And it's not marked either.
There was no sign there.
Yeah. So we got like another quarter mile down, and there's a pretty well developed trail that we were on.
Yep.
So we thought we were just doing the trail, and Peter stopped his watch. Zach stopped his watch, looked at it, realized we'd gone past. So we backtracked like a quarter mile, crossed over to the other side of the gate, and then just continued to follow the trail. It's a relatively easy to see trail. on the other side of the gate though. So once you're on it, it's a pretty easy trail to follow. I'd say the marker is a big water container that we ended up passing. If you reach a water container out in the middle of an open field, it's like a big green
right here
container, probably 10 feet high. Like that was our point. We stopped and where you need to turn back. But yeah, so we got back on the trail and then just continue to south, and you just follow the trail south along the fence line until we reached Garden Canyon, which is also still on Fort Huachuca proper. It's maybe another 2-3 miles past where we hit that water container and had to turn around, and then that's where we stopped and we hit our resupply.
Yep. And so that right there where the pointer is Sawmill Canyon, which is at the top of Garden Canyon. So if you're looking at it on the map, I always just call it Garden Canyon, but if you look at it on like a Google map, it's going to say Sawmill Canyon. I think it was at 11 and some change miles. Yeah. And with our turnaround, it ended up being like right around 12 miles, I think. So yeah, that is the plan. You get vehicles up in there. You're going to need a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get up in there. Maybe not necessarily a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but it's going to need clearance. Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to need clearance to get up in there, but it's a great resupply point because it's right along your route. As you see, we just continued from there on our adventure here. So, I think. John, how much water did you carry, at least to Garden Canyon?
Yeah, so we came out of Sawmill Canyon, did the climb like Zach was saying. It was probably like 1,500 feet overall of climbing to get up to the ridgeline. It was just switchback after switchback. Definitely a couple come to Jesus moments on that climb, I think, for all of us. But then you hit the trail again. The trail follows a ridge. And you take that all the way to the intersection where the trail goes up to Carr Peak. And then that's where, depending on time, you can decide if you want to summit Carr Peak. It's another maybe mile and a half to this peak, and then mile and a half back, so 2 to 3 miles round trip. Yep. If it's a clear day, it's definitely worth the view. Mm-hmm. It's got an awesome view of Sierra Vista, the surrounding mountains. But if not, you just stay straight on the Ridgeline Trail and then head down towards Miller Peak, which is probably another 2-3 miles down the trail.
Yep. So that right where I was pointing was Bathtub Spring. That's at the intersection. So here, this takes you to Carr. And then this is Bathtub Spring, which you have to go past to get to Miller Peak, at least along the Crest Trail. I guess like probably one of the considerations that I would think about is if you don't want to run at night and you're moving at a decent clip, if you avoid the peaks and you don't go to the peaks, you could
probably done.
You could potentially finish before dark, depending on what time of the year. You know, it got dark for us around 5:30.
5:30, yeah. You are on the backside of the mountain, so we had like an extra hour of sunlight because of that, but it was still before 6 before we were under headlights. On the trail.
Yeah, and I mean, I would not be, unless you're maybe by yourself or you're very unfamiliar with running in the dark, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. As long as you're on the trail proper, there's no sheer cliffs where you're gonna fall off or become injured in any kind of way. So I would say it's like John was saying, if it's a clear day, it's definitely worth going to at least one of the peaks.
Of the two, yeah. And the only other consideration I would say too is the trails down near the border do have an awesome view into Mexico. So if you'd rather see the landscape into Mexico, I might forego the peaks to get to the border during daylight. If that doesn't excite you and you just want to run down to the border and just want to see the monument and take off, then I think the peaks would be worth it. But I think we hit them on a great day. We had gorgeous views all day from the two peaks. It was pretty cold up there.
Yeah.
So definitely threw a jacket on when we were up there. But then by the time we got back to the Ridgeline Trail, it was warm enough that you could run in shorts and a t-shirt and be fine.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Like I ran in shorts and a t-shirt most of the time. I think everybody carried an ultralight jacket. I know you ran in one most of the time, right? Yeah. And when the sun went down, if you stopped moving,
It was cold.
it was cold. It was legit cold. This is December 26th. There wasn't snow out yet, but I mean, it was blowing 20, 30-mile-an-hour gusts, especially up on top. So, yeah. Okay, so we left off at Miller Peak. Once we came off of Miller, we had about 45 minutes of light left. So that said, we get over here to Montezuma Pass right here, which there's a bathroom there. There's a parking area there. You could have a crew resupply if you wanted to there. But we got there in the dark. So we got there in the dark, kind of regrouped there. At this point, we had 4 of us remaining.
Yeah.
And we finished our run down to the border together. And so you just head straight off from Montezuma Pass right down to the border. You'll see a straight line right there because I forgot to unpause my watch right there. So that's why I was a little bit short. But now the trail is open. You can legally go down there. You want to check the status. I would check the status if that's something you're concerned about that trail being open. Check the status before you go down there just to make sure that trail is open because of border wall construction. Leaving?
Yeah, so we hit the border. I probably spent 5 minutes down there, took a photo, let the legs rest for a few minutes. It's a pretty easy going down, but it's probably a 500 or 600 foot climb going back up. So after 33 miles, under dark, under head torch, like it was pretty slow moving up for most of our group, going back up. And then one option would be you could have a crew park, like Zach said, at the National Monument overpass view, where the cursor is, and then that could be your stop point. We decided against that just because the park has no lights at night, and it's a switchback road that goes up to that and just follows the side of the mountain. So you'd have to be comfortable driving mountain roads at night to get up there and have your crew there. But if you don't want to do that, then there's the National Monument Welcome Center where the finish point was at, and that's where Paloma had parked the car. And we just took the trail Joe's Canyon all the way down, so it intersects with the trail we were on, the Arizona Trail section that we were on, and then there's a signpost that says Joe's Canyon Trail, and it's a little steep at times. It definitely, you can't go super fast on it because it's a switchback down the side of a mountain, and then we were doing it in dark. But then, we got back to the car right around 35 miles, and that ended our journey.
Yeah. Kind of couple just closing thoughts that I have here. As far as nutrition was concerned, I think I took somewhere around 3,500 calories with me, between gels, and just general little snacks and things like that. And I felt pretty comfortable with that. I think we were all hungry.
Yeah.
It's inevitable at some point there's going to be a conversation about what you want to eat. But yeah, I was good with 3,500 calories. Where do you think you were at, John?
I was probably about the same. I think if I could do anything different, I probably would have packed a few sandwiches or something, just because I think, like Zach said, when I got to the end, I was eating a lot, so I didn't have any stomach issues, but I was just starving, and I was eating a Cliff Bar, Cliff Gels, jelly beans, and then 10 minutes later, I felt like I hadn't eaten in an hour. So although I was taking in calories, I wasn't really taking in enough to feel full. So I think just having some actual substance food would be a smart idea going if we did it again.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, John, you brought up a good point about doing this whole thing unsupported, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we were fortunate, like Zach said, to have Beth and Paloma up at Garden Canyon. I definitely think that it's doable to go unsupported on this route. I would say you would want to carry at least 4 to 5 liters of water, and then I would probably start south and go north, because you're going to do 10, 12 miles to get to Bathtub Springs. And then that's when you can refill those waters, and then you'll finish out the 20 miles to get back. But I would also highly recommend, if you do it unsupported, doing it around the time we did it, because I think another 2 months from now, you try to do this in end of February, early March, it's going to start to get so warm that you're just going to blaze through water, and you really you're up there alone and unafraid. Really, there's no cell signal. There's no one else up there. That if you ran out of water, you could stop at a house or stop at a stream and fill up. It's bathtub springs or it's nothing. So that's it. I would do it if I did unsupported. I would go south to north, and I would carry a ton of water, almost excessive. If you think you have too much, I can bring more.
Yeah. No, I think those are all great points. The only thing I would say about bathtub spring is just make sure you take a look at when you're doing it. If you're going to do it like right now, I'm not sure whether or not the spring is running. That all that spring or all that water is potable. You can drink it straight out of the spring. It's literally piped right out of the side of the mountain, goes into a bathtub. You can get it right out of the spigot before it hits the bathtub. It's clean. I've drank. Me, you, all of our friends have drank from it numerous times, never had any kind of issues with it. The only concern is like right now there's snow up there. I don't know if the water's running. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely doable unsupported. But yeah, I always carry, the other thing I would say is it's very remote. The access to get off the mountain, you can come off at a few different points, but it's never going to be easy. It's always going to be super steep. So that said, I would always take a first aid kit. I took a tourniquet with me. I took a full first aid kit to stop a big bleed if there. All right, we're at 5.8 miles, 2 hours in, almost 3,000 feet of gain. Doing really good, moving good. The spirits are high. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right, we're at just over 3 miles in, I want to say. Almost 1,500 feet of gain so far. Got the crew, we're moving good. We're getting up to the top of Blacktail Canyon now?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Less than half an hour.
Cool, yeah. Moving good. Weather's nice up here, it quit raining, or whatever that was. So, doing good, doing good. All right, 33.6 miles in. We have climbed almost 2,000 feet and an hour and 10 minutes, and it's snowing. It's a white Christmas. So, all right, catch up with y'all in a little bit.
It's straight up really snowing now.
Yeah, no doubt.
We got the full brigade, third brigade. Oh man, yeah. Imagine trying to get.
Moving along pretty good. 4.3 in, 2,300 feet of gain, and definitely like freezing rain right now. What's up, buddy? This is gnarly. First really big descent right here. We're at 4.8 miles. Pretty windy, but you can really see out in the distance pretty well. Oh shoot. But yeah, it's beautiful. Pretty awesome. Man, Oh yeah. That's Huachuca Canyon right there. We're at 5.4 miles. 1 hour and 42 minutes. Haven't paused to watch it all. And we're at almost 2,500 feet of gain. We're going good. Just rolling along. Heading to Garden Canyon, meeting up with Paloma. That'll be at just over 11 miles in. All right, see y'all. Yep. Yeah, it's dope. Dope, dope, dope. Pretty cool. Weather's really nice right now. I think we're kind of down a little bit lower. Yeah. So it's not bad, but once you get up high, it's windy and there's snow. Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's good though. That's a gunshot. That's some gunfire.
It's okay to call it that one.
Yeah, that one.
I was using hands, that one. Sure.
Oh yeah, that one's the real deal. Use those poles, brother.
This is a hand fill.
Yeah.
29% slope.
There he is. Pushing the pace up here, bro. What the hell? That's dope. Yeah. We are at 7.3 miles, 2.5 hours in. We have climbed 3,500 feet. What canyon is this, Peter? This is Huachuca Canyon. So we just got charged by a cow. Kind of got stuck right on the fence with Fort Huachuca, and I guess it felt cornered, but it charged us. We were all splitting off down the mountain trying to get out of the way of it, so it's pretty wild, but everybody's doing good.
We dropped down.
So this is the split. We're gonna start heading over into Garden Canyon now, but we passed this up. You got to really be paying attention. When you come up, you're gonna come down that trail and you're gonna want to keep going straight, but you need to come over this section of the fence if you're gonna continue on the traverse.
They're up here. Yeah.
So right up in there, we're gonna start dropping down into Garden Canyon. Moving good. We're at the 10-mile mark. It's a nice single track, man. It's beautiful. Hardly used for sure. Probably less than a dozen people have been out here this year, but man, it's really nice. Good views every now and then when you come out through the tree line. Pretty sweet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That is sweet. We are 14 miles in. Just came through Garden Canyon. Sawmill Canyon was our stopping point where we resupplied. We are at almost 5,000 feet of ascent. That's looking down into Garden Canyon right now. And we're working our way up here to the Crest Trail. Just moving along, doing good. Keep rolling. 12. All right, we just made it up to the Crest Trail. We're at 14.3 miles. I've got 51.50 for ascent, and total moving time 4:21. Paused it at the truck, paused it at the top of Garden Canyon, so a little bit of a lag, but yeah, we're moving good. At 14.75 miles, 4 hours and 36 minutes moving. Ascended 5,600 feet. Moving good. I believe that's looking over, well, that's looking over into Sierra Vista, but I believe that's looking down into I'm not sure if, I don't think that's Ramsey Canyon, I'm pretty doing good at 16.2 miles. 5 hours and 6,400 feet of gain. We're just getting up on top of Ramsey Canyon now. So that big loop that comes up around the top of Ramsey. There's Parker Canyon Lake up there. That's looking straight west. You get down out in there, you're looking at Mexico. We are 16.8 miles in. We are 5 hours and 20 minutes through. Climbed 6,600 feet. And this is looking down into Ramsey Canyon. And then that's Sierra Vista way down there. Yeah, pretty awesome. We are 18.2 miles in, 5.5 hours. We have ascended almost 6,700 feet so far. We got about a little more, we should be right about halfway now. Look at this. That's beautiful. Dust storm blowing out there. That's definitely out in Mexico. Pretty cool. We are coming up on the connector to Ramsey Canyon. So up here, maybe another quarter to half mile, we're gonna hit the intersection where you can make a left, drop down into Ramsey, or you stay bear to the right, stay on the crest trail, heading towards Car Peak or Bathtub Spring. Pretty dope. Actually, it's not that windy up here. Really, we were all anticipating it being pretty gnarly, but it actually hasn't been bad. It's pretty mild right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stop and wait for the crew up ahead once we hit this intersection. There it is. That's beautiful. That is gorgeous. Yeah. Good. Just came through Bear Saddle. 18.5 miles in, 5 hours and 40 minutes. We have climbed 6,700 feet. We're moving good though, moving good. Sun's out right now, so we're heading towards Car Peak. So it's beautiful out here. Car's right there. You guys.
I'm not gonna lie, I straight up did not enjoy that climb.
You were kicking it though.
We are at 19.8 miles, 6 hours, 1 minute moving time. Heading towards Car Peak, right over there. And yeah, this right here is Miller Canyon, and that is Miller Peak up there. We got old Garrett down there, and the rest of the boys are up on the hill and right here. So we're making our way, moving along. Yeah. The drink of choice for the brave soul. Yeah, right here. Bam. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. Here's the road up. Heavy Reef Town site. Car Canyon. And obviously Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca. Yeah, awesome. There it is. That's Miller Park right there. Looking into Mexico, that's the Sierra Madre. You can see the border fence out there in the distance. Bisbee Mountains way out there. Aerostat down there, it's grounded. On the ground. It's windy, 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 windy. Beautiful. Should be up on Miller before dark. We'll have a little bit of night running to do, I think. That's pretty dope. We're moving along here. We're at 7 hours, 10 minutes, and 24.3 miles. We are at the base of Miller. We're on the split to go up to Peak. I'd say we got about an hour 15 of light left without looking at my watch and seeing what time it is. Another peak. 7 hours, 18 minutes in. 24.7 miles. That's looking into Mexico out there. And we are heading down that way towards Coronado Memorial. So, here's Miller Canyon down there. Upper parking lot is just south of those houses. It might be hard to see. That's Car Peak over there. And of course Fort Huachuca just to the right of it. Sierra Vista proper. Man, I'm feeling good. My companions, all things considered, I think they're feeling pretty good too. We've got 8-9 miles left of this adventure. It's going well. Hopefully, no other stuff happens. Here we are, 9,000 feet of gain, 25.2 miles in. We have summited Miller and Carr, and we are making our way to Montezuma Pass and to the border to go hit the end of the Arizona Trail and the terminus of Huachuca Traverse. Moving good. Pretty much all descending now, all the way down to the border wall in Mexico. So we'll have to climb some to get back out of there, but we're pretty much all downhill from here. There he is. Oh boy, John, making his way. Heading to Montezuma Pass. It's all downhill.
I wish it was all a conveyor belt.
We are at the mouth of Lutz Canyon, looking east. That's looking straight down 90, and then Mexico right over there. All right, making our way, making our way. The sun is setting on this Huachuca Traverse. We're moving along. About to be at the marathon distance, 26.05 miles in. 7 hours, 37 minutes moving. And 9,000 feet of gain. We are rolling along. Well, the sun has set on the Huachuca Traverse. It's absolutely beautiful. The sky is super pretty. Man, that's beautiful.